that definitely helped whenever I was getting close to that point of where it was going to start bleeding. Hey guys, so today I wanted to make a video about breastfeeding, and I know some people might think that's a very weird topic, but honestly it's not. That's what boobs were made for. So anyways, I want to share my experience, my personal experience about breastfeeding, and now everyone's gonna have their own different experience. Just how, you know, every baby's different, every breastfeeding experience is also going to be different. Even if it's not your first kid, your second kid, third kid, if you could learn anything from it, or you're pregnant with your first child, you're wondering how it's going to be, at least you'll have some insight of how it could possibly be. With Emma, she did not latch on very well. After I think the third day, I just gave up and I was just pumping and giving her milk that way. It honestly doesn't matter. I mean, breastfeeding, formula, pumping is also fine. You're feeding your baby, that's all that matters. So the first question that I feel like most people have is, does breastfeeding hurt? And the answer is absolutely it does. And now it shouldn't last, you know, the whole entire time, but initially it is going to have some pains here and there. And I think for me this time around, it took about maybe like the first day or two where it almost hurt the entire time. Not bad, but I would say it's definitely uncomfortable, and that's just because your body's getting used to it, you know, someone tugging on your nipples, so it's not a normal feeling that you should be having. After that went away, then it was just painful for as soon as he latched on. Another thing, so latching on is key. So Emma did not latch on very well at all, and I think that's why I had such a bad experience with breastfeeding. That's why I ended up stopping, because it was just really bad. With our baby boy, he latched on immediately. He was just ready to have some milk. That does depend on your baby. Well, to me, I feel like it depends on your baby. So the pain only hurt then for the next 2 weeks whenever he would latch on. Sometimes I'd bring him close to me and I would get scared and I'd like pull him back. It was just like a reaction I would have where I would be like, okay, let's see this. Oh wait, hold on, I need a break. That first like few seconds of latch on was like the worst feeling ever. I felt like there was like glass coming out from your nipples. It was the worst, but it would just last for a few seconds, then it would stop hurting and he would eat for like maybe like 10-20 minutes. It is painful, but if you're really set on that you want to breastfeed, just know that it eventually does get better. If it's still hurting the entire time when you're breastfeeding, definitely recommend checking your latch, doing like a deep latch or a shallow latch, because if it's shallow, it's always going to hurt you. You're going to crack nipples, all those things. Take advantage of the lactation consultant. Every hospital should have one, and you can bring them in as many times as you want. I mean, with Emma, I did it a few times, didn't really help, unfortunately, but with our baby boy, I brought them in so many times, and even though I felt like I was doing it right, I just wanted to make sure, because once I left, I know it'd be more of an issue to, you know, have someone help me. It's almost like the baby and you both have to learn how to breastfeed, because yes, it's like it's an instinct to them, but they're still learning. They're still babies, so you're kind of learning how to do it, they're kind of learning how to do it. So give yourself some grace and just know that's gonna take some time to get used to. So I still did experience sore nipples. It did crack. I did have some areas that were almost like blood blisters. Didn't bleed. I know sometimes that does happen where, you know, people actually do bleed when they're nursing, and thankfully that never happened to me, but I definitely could tell that I was close. And I did ask the pediatrician, and they said, you know, if there's still some blood, like that's okay. Of course, if it's like straight, like bright red and like that's it, then obviously that's a different issue. But if you just have like a tint of pink, I was told that you know, it is okay. It's not gonna harm the baby. But of course you want to figure out and fix, you know, what's going on. Thankfully for me, I never got to that point. I know I got close, but then it just healed. And there's different ways you can have your nipples heal. So first of all, you need to make sure that when you are breastfeeding that you are latching correctly, because again, I've said this before, the latch is key. If you don't have a good latch, you're not gonna have a good experience. So make sure the latch is good. If it is good, it's gonna take some time, because if the latch wasn't good before, it's still gonna be sore, so you kind of have to suffer through, and eventually it's gonna get better. And that is what happened with me. At the hospital, they usually give you like this nipple cream, like Laniso, or I forgot what it's called, but it's like a little purple tube, and after you breastfeed, you can put that on. I kind of let it air dry, because if you put your bra back on, then I feel like it's not really helping. So I'd put that on and then kind of like be free, you know, if I was at home, like just have a robe on and have it open and just let it kind of air out. And that definitely helped whenever I was getting close to that point of where it was going to start bleeding. Breast milk actually has all these really good benefits for healing. So what I would also do is after I'd breastfeed, I'd express a little bit more and put some on my nipple, let it air dry. It's a magic milk. I don't know what it is, but somehow breast milk can heal everything. So that is what I use, and it helped. Today is about 3 weeks since I've had him, and I'm not having any more pain when I'm breastfeeding. Even with the initial latch, that part is gone. That took about 2 weeks. Now I don't feel a thing. So something that I did whenever it was getting really sore and like almost close to that bleeding point is I would get for me it was the right side that it was like about to like really bleed. So what I did was I pumped that side, the right side, and gave it a break while I had him nurse on the left side. And I just did that once, went back to the left side, and then I knew the next time I'd have to go to the right, because if you baby it too much and you're just having him nurse on one side, then that side's gonna get very sore and probably end up doing the same thing where it's almost bleeding. So you can give yourself a break. You do want to be cautious, because if you're babying it too much, then you're just gonna hurt the other side, and the other side's not gonna, you know, be ready to get toughened up, I guess how you would say it. So I would do that just occasionally, and then I would know, okay, now I gotta suck it up and do the right side again, and it hurts so bad. But you know, I suffered through it, and now it's gone. It's good. Like, we're good. Boobs are good. Still nursing on both sides. So, and there's no pain, which is very important. And then something I learned this time around is that it seemed like he was constantly hungry, like wanting to eat all the time. So I would feed him, you know, just letting him do that. And I think for the first few days that is normal, but this was, you know, the first week or two where he still kept doing that, and it seemed like he was always gassy too. So I asked the pediatrician, and she said that if you are constantly snacking, she called it, or constantly feeding, then he's not going to be eating or drinking as much, because he's just doing like small snacking sessions. So he's actually getting more air, and it causes him to be gassy. And when babies are gassy, they're always going to act like they're hungry. They're going to be rooting and doing all those things. So they're not always hungry when they're acting hungry. You do have to keep in mind, okay, when's the last time I fed him or her? And if it's been a while, obviously he's probably hungry. But let's say you just fed him and he's still acting like he's hungry. You know, try patting him, trying to burp him. Sometimes I've noticed that he would burp and then he'd be fine, he'd fall asleep. So I think when they're uncomfortable, their reaction is, oh, I just want to eat more to make my stomach feel better. But the pediatrician said that actually makes it worse. She was telling me, you know, initially he should be eating every 2 to 3 hours, and I was almost doing like every 30 minutes to an hour is how he was eating before. So once I started to space it out, and it definitely noticed he was less gassy. It was easier on me, because think about it, if you're constantly like every 30 minutes to an hour, you know, nursing, your nipples are very, very, very sore, and that's, I think, what was happening to me. Giving myself that break, you know, 2-3 hour break, I was able to, you know, give my body some time to heal. It gave him some time to really get hungry and have like a whole like breastfeeding session, and then, you know, take a nap. If he was uncontrollably crying, I would obviously just feed him, but sometimes I'd be able to get him to calm down with, like, you know, carrying him around, using a pacifier, you know, things like that. And if nothing helped, then I would feed him. But most of the time, I'd say 9 times out of 10, it was just like he wanted to be cuddled or he wanted a pacifier. Our nursing bras, like, required, and I would say they are very, very helpful. And, you know, just being able to, like, you know, there's just like a snap right here, and just like snap it down, feed, snap it back up. With Emma, I bought about 5 of them, and then whenever our baby boy arrived, I actually bought 4 more. So now I have about 9 of them. You'll be surprised how many you end up using, because you gotta get getting spit up on them, milk spills, whatever the case may be, and you go through them a lot. So I'm really glad I got 9. It sounds very excessive, but that's what I needed. When you're home, like, I just wear whatever, like a t-shirt, whatever, because if he needs to eat, I can just lift my shirt. I don't have to really be careful. When I go out though, I like to wear things like this, for example, where it's like easy accessible, where I can just like pull this down, kind of go like that. I once did not wear something like this, and it was a real hassle to breastfeed. So I'd recommend, if you're going out somewhere, use something like this, so it makes the process a lot easier for everyone. All right, so that is everything I can think of on breastfeeding tips. If you have any questions for me, feel free to comment down below. I'll get to responding to you as soon as I can. And another video I'm gonna make later on is going to be on my milk supply, because this time around, I feel like I'm a milk machine. Like, I'm just like storing and storing and storing so much milk. I'm honestly shocked of how much I have in the freezer right now, and I'll show you guys in another video. But I'm gonna make a video on, you know, just how to get a good milk supply, how to get a good storage going, because for me at least, it somehow has worked out where literally, to me at least, it's a lot of freaking milk I have stored. So that's the end of the video, but thank you guys for watching. And if you just stumbled across this and haven't seen my birth vlog yet, go ahead and do that. I'll put it right here or somewhere. I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but you're gonna see it somewhere on the screen here. Our baby boy was born December 1st of 2020. So you go ahead and see that and how the whole process went for me. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel where you'll just see more of our family, and I like to do sit down videos like this as well. And if you guys have any topics you guys want me to discuss, just comment down below and I can see if we make a video out of it. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you on our next video. Bye!